Hi guys. Okay, so this is the third video that you guys have been waiting for, and in this video we're going to speak about tips and tricks on how to write your personal statement for GKS, and also do's and don'ts. And also at the end of this video I am going to read my personal statement for you guys. So before we get into like things to do and things not to do, most times like personally, when I was writing my personal statement, since I went through the embassy track, I was very confused if I had to write 3 different personal statements for 3 different schools, since I'm choosing 3 different schools, or like how do I do it. I was so confused, and I ended up writing one general personal statement, meaning that it contained everything that I wanted to say. And instead of focusing on the school itself, I focused on myself, my motivation, why I wanted to study in Korea and things like that. And I really did not speak about the schools themselves, but I spoke about like myself and the GKS scholarship itself. I didn't focus on the school because I was sending, or the personal statement itself was going to 3 different schools plus the embassy. So if you are going through embassy track, you can, if you would like, you can do what I did, make one general personal statement to photocopy into 3 different do 3 different copies, 1 original and 3 different copies, because one of your personal statements would be dropped at the embassy, while the 3 will be sent to the universities that you chose. Personal statement itself is very important. Your personal statement can either make you or break you in your application for GKS, because I usually say that your personal statement is like, it's a way to sell you to the person reading it, because before you get an interview itself, they have to read your personal statement to determine if this person is going to even get a shot at an interview or not. So you have to try and write a very, very good personal statement. A personal statement is as important as your GPA, because your GPA is more like quantitative. It's something that can be measured with like numbers and things like that, while your personal statement is something that they can see. It has its own category of itself. It's not measured with your CGPA or your like transcript. It has its own measure in itself, because it kind of shows how you think, your motivation, your goals, your aspiration, and things like that. So your personal statement is very important. So you are supposed to use your personal statement to explain your readiness to study in Korea, your readiness to study the particular course you're choosing, your adaptability, how you can adapt to a new environment, because you would be coming to a new environment where you don't have friends or family. Your personal statement, you also show like your level of maturity, and it should not ramble. Like, there's a lot of people who write personal statement and just rambling. You should go straight to the point. Every sentence that you make should either be adding importance, or it should be like have an impact or pass along a message that you want. So don't waste your personal statement. Those when writing your personal statement would be, number 1 is you have to follow the instruction, because there's always an instruction and it's always the same thing. So if you look at the application form, if you've downloaded the application form for this year, because we are still in, what's the month? We're in June, and the application form for this year's graduate came out in February, I believe February or March. If you look at the application form, and even the one that I used last year, it's always similar or the same thing. The application form usually in the personal statement aspect of it usually has you have to write about your motivation, educational background, significant experience you've had, personal event that has significantly influenced you, and describe your award, the award you've received or publication if applicable. So there are some times that people want to, even after they see these instructions where you're supposed to write your motivation and things like that, they're like, oh, let me just write something else. You want to break the rules, you want to stand out. Those kind of thing, there's more possibility of you not getting the scholarship, because they need someone who can follow the rules. They don't want someone that would break the rules for like visa and things like that, because if you cannot follow just simple rules or the instruction that they are giving you, it kind of hinders your application itself. So when it comes to motivation in which you applied for this program, you should speak about why you are applying for this program. You should speak about like what motivated you, and what made you decide that you're going to leave your country and want to come to Korea to study. Why Korea? Why is it so special? Why is it Korea that you choose? Something that motivates you to either do the to pick the course that you want to study, or the country itself. So you should write about your motivation. Also, educational background. You should write about your educational background. I'm sure this is very self-explanatory. You should talk about like what you've done, if you've done bachelor's degree, if you've done masters, if you've done this, if you had like extra things that you've done. You should talk about your educational background. Then you talk about significant experience that you've had. You can start with this, like there are some people who sometimes you can answer the question by doing answer motivation, one paragraph, and second paragraph can go to educational background, or you can kind of blend it all to be like a story, because because I'm a writer, I write books. And for me, when I was writing this, I kind of did not want to just answer motivation, then next paragraph education, next paragraph significant experience. I kind of did it like in a way that kind of explained my life like a story. So I started from like my significant experience, or like my motivation. Then I moved to when I was in secondary school, then I moved to university, and after that my NYC and things like that, kind of like explain my life in a story, kind of like it had like a storyline or a path that I followed. That was like how personally I wrote mine. So you can do something like that, or you can, if you want, you can talk about your motivation in one paragraph, and another paragraph you talk about your educational background, or like who have influenced you and things like that. So the next thing, after you've written all this, before you even start writing it, you in the instruction it is said that you have to write in New Times Roman size 11, I believe. Yes, size 11, single spacing meaning that there's not going to be a space between the words that you are writing. So the words that you write should be very close together. You should not like you type, then you now do like one space, then write another. It should not be like this. It should be more like this. I don't know if you understand. I think I'll just put like an example when I'm editing it. You should follow that, and it should be single space or when you are writing it. And it should, if you are going for graduates, because I'm speaking about graduates since I have more experience in graduates, you should not write more than 3 pages. Everything you are writing should be within 3 pages itself. So when you want to write your personal statement, you should start with a killer sentence. A killer sentence means that you should start with something that can attract people, because you are not the only person that is applying for this scholarship. There are thousands of people applying for this same scholarship, and the people behind like picking would read thousands of personal statements. So you need something to stand out. Don't start with, hello, my name is Jare, I am Nigerian, no, go express yourself in a way that captivates the reader, like something that will kind of open their eyes, because they are busy reading other people's own. Okay, same thing. Like they should see yours and should be like, oh, okay, let me read this. Let me read the first paragraph at least. So when you are writing, make sure that your personal statement is not boring. Do you get, like, make sure it's not boring, make sure it kind of grabs attention. You can, like here I wrote, you can start with something that motivates you, and something that can open their eyes when they are reading it. So don't waste your personal statements, because everything that you write is very important. So when you are writing your personal statement, please put that in consideration. So also, when you're writing your personal statement, you should be very honest. You should not lie about anything, because what you write in your personal statement can be asked when you do interview. Like if you wrote that, oh, I'm a very jovial person, I jump at this thing, I'm very adventurous, and then during your interview they ask you, oh, you wrote here that you're adventurous, could you give us an example of what you mean? And you're like, it kind of like would reduce your chances. So be very honest what you are writing. Everyone has a unique experience and unique journey. Try and explain your journey in your personal statement. When you are mentioning the awards that you've received in your personal statement, or the skills, don't just state, kind of explain. So what I mean by this is that when you are talking about, okay, I graduated first class, I have a degree in this, I have a degree in this, I receive award for this, I receive award for this. Don't just state it. Talk about like what you learned during the process, because as much as the award itself is important, what you gained during the process of getting the award or after you got the award is very important. So instead of saying something like, oh, I received an award for, I don't know, for best students in school, you can talk about how upon receiving the award or before receiving the award, it taught you how to be patient, how to react and relate to people, how to communicate, things like that. So talk about what you gained itself. Do you understand what I'm saying? So don't just state like, oh, I got this, I got this, I got this. Talk about like how it helped you grow as a person and how that it has influenced your character or your personality today. So, the next point is don't be vague with your point. So don't say something like, I am passionate. Everyone is passionate. There's no one that is writing personal statement that is not passionate. There's no one that wants to apply for this scholarship that is not passionate about coming to Korea or studying. So you have to explain it. So don't just say something like, oh, I'm passionate about studying. I'm going to use my course, for example. I'm passionate about studying political science and international relations, and just end it. Talk about why you are passionate about this. Talk about what this field itself that you want to study. Talk about how it affects you and how you like to change it, or what exactly you want to contribute, what exactly makes you so drawn to it, things like that. Don't just talk about, I'm passionate. Everyone is passionate. Why are you passionate? Do you get? Try and explain why you are more passionate. Also, don't use negative tones, because there are sometimes maybe you applied for something and you did not get it. So instead of you saying, oh, I applied for this and I didn't get it, although I wanted to get a topic, I didn't get it, you can talk about how the experience itself has like a positive impact, even though the result was not like the way you want it. You can talk about something like, oh, although I could not get the topic certificate, studying for topic made me do this, blah blah blah. I during the time of preparing, I was doing this, and it has enhanced this, it has done this, kind of like make it positive. Anything that is kind of negative, maybe even if you don't have a strong CGPA or a GPA, or what do they call it, try and make it positive. Try and talk about how this experience or this thing has a positive impact. Now that, so even though I did not get a 5.0 when I was studying, but because I've gone through the process, I have a foundation for this, blah blah blah, I'm able to study better, I know my strengths and I'm going to work on it better, something like that. Even though it's a negative thing, don't use negative tone for it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I mentioned, like, if you are mentioning achievement, because you can mention achievement because one of the questions there is for you, if applicable, describe awards that you have received or publications. So if you have received any award and the award is not it doesn't really have a connection with what you want to study. For example, maybe you received an award for what can I say, let's say blood donation, because I studied blood donation in class today, so that's what's in my head. Let's say you want to talk about blood donation and you are going for mass communication, for example. It does not really have a correlation, but instead of you just saying that, oh, I got an award for blood donation, or I have a volunteer certificate for blood donation, you should kind of talk about how it links to your person instead of just talking about how it links to what you want to study, because it doesn't have a link but you still want to add it. So you can talk about how, like, when I was volunteering to give blood, it taught me how to appreciate more. It taught me how to do this, taught me how to do that. So you can still kind of link it to you as a person, even though it does not really link to what you want to study. Also, when you are anytime that you are describing the awards that you received or the publication that you have, make sure to submit a supplementary document. So if you said you are the best in your class, make sure you submit a document to actually back up what you want to say, and don't just like say, oh, I did this, and there is no proof. Everyone can say they did it, so you have to submit it, and it's going to be under the extra document when you are submitting your documents for application. I'm going to read my personal statement now and kind of like explain as I read it, so we know how to like write things. First of all, before I start, do not plagiarize my personal statement. I don't want to read this thing since, but you can get inspiration from the personal statement that I'm about to read, but please do not plagiarize my personal statement. So when you are writing your personal statement, you can write it in like you can have it in a document file before the application form drops. So just have it in a document file. Make sure you're writing it in New Times Romance, size 11. It should not be more than 3 pages. You don't have to start your personal statement with, like I mentioned, you don't have to start it with "my name is," because your name is already in the document, and your details or your age or anything like that is already in what you are going to submit. Is in your passport, it's in your certificate and things like that, so you don't need any of that. Just go straight to the point. So my personal statement, I started it with: every time I think about how my country, Nigeria, gained its independence 63 years ago, but remains a developing nation where over 133 million out of 213 million citizens, according to the World Poverty Clock 2023, survive on less than $2 United States daily, it makes me wonder when we can move from the status of developing to a developed nation. This question is why I seek to be a catalyst of change and development, and with this motivation in mind, I have chosen the next step in my academic journey to study international relations and political science through Global Korean Scholarship. I firmly believe education is a powerful weapon that can be used to change the world, and from my research, the Global Korean Scholarship Program can provide me with a broader academic perspective to improve my Korean in my chosen field. I see this opportunity as a stepping stone to becoming a public diplomat and a bridge that connects Nigeria and South Korea through improved interactions. So this is how I started my personal statement. This is one paragraph, and as you can see or hear, I spoke about my motivation, why I want to study this course, why I'm choosing to study this course, what motivated me to study it. I didn't just start with "my name is this." I spoke about what exactly concerned me as a person, and which is like the world poverty and like the poverty in Nigeria, and how the status of developing nation has always stick to Nigeria, and how I'd like to change it and be a kind of a catalyst of change. This is which kind of explains my motivation as to why I want to study through the Global Korean Scholarship. So you can also do something like this. You can talk about what exactly it is that you've seen, or what exactly has influenced you or impacted you that made you want to choose the course that you want to go for. So the next paragraph is: I came across a YouTube video on South Korea's rapid economic progress 2 years ago, and since then I have been intrigued by the country's path to development. As the country has had first-hand experience in economic and socio-political development and has become a model nation for me. Therefore, I am confident that studying and researching in South Korea will not only broaden my understanding for my chosen program and provide me with necessary skills to achieve my professional goals, but also studying in South Korea through Global Korean Scholarship will improve my proficiency in the Korean language, which is one of my language objectives. I am very confident that studying in South Korea will help me become a valuable asset that can positively shape South Korea and Nigeria's foreign policy. So here I spoke about what exactly drew me to South Korea, what made me want to study in South Korea, which is the video I saw like 3 years ago. It's been 3 years now, or 4 years if, about South Korea's rapid economic growth, and how I would like to learn from it, because I want to like kind of bring it back home, and how like it relates to the chosen field that I want to study. And also, when you are, I think is, I don't know if it's important because it's not part of the instruction, but I slided the fact that I also would like to become better or improve my Korean proficiency, because it's one of my language goals. And I think that kind of shows that I'm not only interested in studying, but I'm also interested in integrating myself in the Korean society. So you can add something like that. Talk about how you want to be good in Korean language or improve your Korean language, and how like studying Korea can help you become like a valuable asset, or can help you become a bridge between Korea and Nigeria or your country in through your scope of study and things like that. So the next paragraph is: in my final year of secondary school, I found inspiration in a friend who at that time was self-studying languages to pursue a degree in foreign languages. This led me to earn a Bachelor's of Arts honors degree in Russian language at the University of Lagos, where I graduated magna cum laude in 2019. During my undergraduate study, I held the position of treasurer in the Department of European Languages and Integration Studies, and also I had the privilege of being appointed as the class representative for 4 consecutive years, including during my 1-year study abroad as a language exchange student at the Ivanova State of University in Russia. This experience allowed me to fully immerse myself in the lifestyle, culture, and history of Russia. Living abroad not only improved my language ability, but also helped me develop independence as I navigate my life in a foreign country away from my friends and family. I was able to build a meaningful interpersonal relationship with my teachers and new friends, and as the class representative, I served as a bridge between my teacher and classmates. This role taught me how to facilitate discussions between my classmates and teachers, how to resolve conflicts, and promote student-teacher relationships. And in my second year, I was awarded the title of Best Russian Student in the department. So in this paragraph, I explained my educational background. I talked about why exactly, what led me to choose the course that I chose in my undergraduate, which was like my friend who was learning language at that time. It kind of influenced me, which made me learn Russian language back home. So you can talk about what influenced you and what made you choose your first degree. I spoke about what I graduated with. Then I talked about the roles that I took when I was in the university. I took the position of treasurer in the department. You can talk about what position you took in the department. You can speak about like if you've studied abroad before, you can add it like I did. If you've not studied abroad before, you can. If you've been away from your parents before, you can talk about it. It kind of shows that you are independent, that even if you come to Korea, you can survive because you have experience. Even if it's living away from your parents when you were in university, you were living outside of school, you were living away from your parents, you can add that and talk about how the experience itself helped you to grow independence and kind of like navigate your life away from your families and friends. You can also talk about if you've gone for NIIED, something like that, something that shows that you can be independent without your family and friend, and you can survive without these people because you're going to be away from them for a very long time. So you can mention things like that. And in this paragraph, as you can hear, I mentioned the roles that I took, but I didn't say, oh, I was the the treasurer in my department, and I was the class rep for 4 years. I spoke about what the role taught me. So you can do something like that. You can speak about what the role taught you, how it has helped you become like this thing, or how it has kind of like helped you grow as a person. You help your what is it called, your personality and things like that. After after completing my university degree, and while waiting the processing of my transcript, I developed an interest in Mandarin, and so I enrolled in a 1.5 year class at the Confucius Institute, University of Lagos. There, I achieved a proficiency level 4 before embarking on my 1 year national service. I served my country for a year as a member of the Nigerian Youth Service Corps, taking on the role of teaching assistant in a junior high school. During this period, I was able to establish positive relationship with the students and gave extra help when needed. Under the guidance of the teacher, I contributed to setting up and organizing the classroom for lessons, and offered support during instructional activities, and played a role in preparing and organizing education resource and materials. My contribution had a positive impact on the development of the students, the school, and the community where I was posted. Once I completed my service, I became increasingly curious about matters beyond language studies, and wanted to focus on conflict resolution, peacemaking, and diplomacy. This interest prompted me to pursue a master's in diplomacy and strategic studies, where I am expected to graduate by June 2024. So here I spoke about like my NYC. So you can think, if you've gone for NYC, you can speak about your NYC. Most people think during NYC, like, what did I learn? I didn't learn anything. I just went there and do this thing. You did something. You just have to find a way to like to package it. Everything are packaging. You just find a way to package it and explain what you did. Like, even if you're a teacher, just like here, I was a teaching assistant there. You can talk about how your role, what you did, how it helped, the impact you gave, and the influence you collected, things like that. And if you are transitioning from a particular course to another course, like I transitioned here, because I was doing languages, and I've always done languages. Then I transitioned from language to diplomacy. So you can speak about it. What exactly prompted the transition? If you are going from mass comm to medicine, or I don't know, something like that. You talk about the transition. What prompted the transition phase? Like, why you don't want to do this again? But don't make it look like it's a two separate thing. Talk about how like this first thing that you did kind of improved or enhanced your interest in this second thing that you want to do. Do you understand? So here I explained that at that time when I was applying, I had not graduated yet when I wrote this, my personal statement. So that's why I wrote I am expected to graduate by June 2024. So the next paragraph is: my ongoing master's degree has significantly influenced my mindset, as the study provided me with solid foundation to understand how the international system works, what diplomacy means, and the importance of strategy in the global system. On this side, I explored other related courses through the online learning platform Coursera, taking courses like Power and Foreign Policy in International Relations, the Korean Economic Development, Understanding Korean Politics, and A Bridge to the World, Korean Language for Intermediate, to broaden my academic and understanding of the international system. Under the guidance of my thesis supervisor, I conducted a thesis on foreign aid and African quest for development. In this thesis, I delved into topics such as how foreign aid has an effect on Africans' political stability, economic growth, social development, as well as significant impact foreign aid plays in affecting African search for development. The next step of my academic study is to study political science and international relations through Global Korean Scholarship. Although I would be receiving a master's degree in diplomacy and strategic studies, I would like to earn another degree in political science and international relations because I am eager to learn from a different educational system and viewpoints. I specifically chose Global Korean Scholarship and South Korea because I am fascinated by the country's rapid growth to development. As a citizen of a country struggling with social, political, and economic growth, I aim to accumulate the necessary knowledge to contribute to developmental policies, decision making, and enhance the bilateral relationship between South Korea and Nigeria. I aim to not only be an instrument of change to my country, but to also give back to South Korea when I become a diplomat. So here I also explained like what my educational background, but focusing on the extra things that I've done. So I took some courses on Coursera, and I explained the courses I took and why I took them. Then I also talked about my thesis because I had written thesis, and yeah, they say if you have any publication, you should write it. So if you have written thesis, you can put it if you have written thesis. If you have written, what is it, project, undergraduate project, you talk about your undergraduate project and talk about what you've learned through the project and what the research made you realize and things like that. Then you can talk about how coming to South Korea, like link everything together, why you want to study in South Korea for your masters and not home. Talk about how maybe you want to experience or you want to see from a different viewpoint. You want to learn from a different educational system and compare the two. Like, no knowledge is too much. Every knowledge is important. So things like that, you can explain it also. So then the last paragraph, which is conclusion. So make sure you conclude your what is it called? Your personal statement, because I've seen a lot of personal statement where you just write, but like no conclusion. You just like, oh, I did this. So in conclusion, my H factor is coming out. In conclusion, I wholeheartedly believe that studying political science and international relations through the Global Korean Scholarship would serve as a stepping stone towards achieving my goal of influencing change and development for not only my country, but the world at large. My experience, educational background, and motivation, as discussed above, shows the depth of my aspiration to pursue an education in South Korea through the Global Korean Scholarship. Upon receiving the scholarship, I will commit myself to making the most of the opportunity and dedicate myself to gaining knowledge to impact international development, help the future generation, and strengthen the ties between Nigeria and South Korea. Thank you for your consideration. So make sure you thank them at the end, because they are taking time to read your personal statement. So you make sure you put thank you at the end. Then talk about what you will do when you get the scholarship. Not just like, oh, I want to get the scholarship, I want to get the scholarship. Okay, when you get it, what are you going to do? You talk about it. You can also end it with what you aspire to do with the degree when you get it at the end, because here I wrote that I wanted to strengthen like the ties between Nigeria and South Korea, and also help the future generations, since I'm very interested in eradicating poverty and interested in like sustainable development. So you can talk about something like that. I hope this video helped you to understand how to write your personal statement. When you write your personal statement, you can have someone like your lecturer, professor read through it for you. You can have your friends read through for you. I gave my aunt, she's a professor at the University of Abuja, she read it, and I also gave my project supervisor when I was in undergrad. I gave him my personal statement, and he read it also. I also gave my friend who was already in South Korea. So if you have people like that around you, you can give them. Please do not give it to me. I have like so many projects. Like I have to go and prepare for my projects after this video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. The next video we're going to be talking about study plan, tips and tricks for study plan. Also, if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer. Thanks so much. Love you. Bye.